Hello everyone, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. I'm so happy to introduce you to someone in the area here who is the executive director of an organization that is doing so much good in our community. So Peggy Srendenko, so great to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And you are the executive director of Embrace. Now, Embrace is a wonderful word. What is Embrace all about?
So we are a pregnancy resource center. We've been in Barberton since 1990, and we're just there to serve anyone that's facing pregnancy-related challenges, those that are just finding out they're pregnant, those that already have parenting. We serve men, women, and even grandparents that have custody of some of their grandchildren.
That's an all-encompassing mission. I guess I would call it a mission. How did you get into it?
So I started in 2012. At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom with my kids, and I started volunteering by organizing clothing or checking equipment. And I just went in on the off hours because I would bring my kids with me because they would run all over the place. And then after a while, I started meeting with the clients one-on-one. I really liked that. And then some more time went by and a staff position opened up for Director of Client Services. So I was basically over the volunteer activity. And then as some more time went on, the Executive Director position became available. And that's where I've been for about 3 years now.
Oh my gosh, so you really came up through the, through the entire organization, starting as a volunteer.
Yeah, so we have a lot of volunteers. We have a very small paid staff, but we have quite a large volunteer staff. So most of the people that meet with our clients, we call those advocates, both men and women, those are volunteers. All of our board members are, of course, volunteers. And our medical director, under whose license we operate, is also a volunteer.
Wow. You really, excuse me, bring in the entire community.
We do, yes. So we have just all kinds of volunteers, men, women, those that are younger, those that are more mature, and some that are even more mature than I am.
And you're dealing, I'm so sorry. For those of you who are viewing, it's a very wet day.
It is.
And I'm not the greatest with wet weather. But you'll have to do most of the talking, Peggy.
Okay, I'll need some water.
Yeah, right. So, Embrace now, you said that you're dealing with pregnancy. And when you mentioned it before, it sounded like you're dealing with all aspects of pregnancy, and not just the, okay, it's time to have a baby.
Correct.
What's the scope of Embrace?
Yeah, so we see clients at all different stages of pregnancy and parenting, like you mentioned. Sometimes people maybe they're not sure if they're pregnant. They want to come in and take a pregnancy test. We do that for them. Or maybe they're not sure how far along they are, if this pregnancy is viable, things like that. So we'll offer, ultrasounds at no cost to them. All of our services actually are free and confidential. And then we have some that are just considering, they're not sure, what am I going to do with this pregnancy? So we will do an options consultation with them, just share factual information about what all of their options are and help them to make an empowered, informed decision for themselves at a place that doesn't judge them and doesn't profit from any of the decisions that they make. Then we have a large number of moms and dads who've already found out that they're pregnant, they're going to parent, or they already have children. And parenting can be very expensive. So we offer things like diapers and clothes and car seats and cribs, all of that at no cost to the clients. We also offer parenting classes. So sometimes maybe this is their first child, or maybe it's been a long time since they had a child, or maybe it's just a challenge that they never quite figured out. So we will offer parenting classes for that, or peer-to-peer support. Some of our clients don't have their moms or their sisters or anybody in the picture to support them. Then we offer a program called Steadfast Fathers, which is a dedicated men's ministry. So we have some great male mentors who will meet with the men one-on-one to discuss issues that are pertinent to men and to help them if they have custody of their children with the material items we talked about. And the best part of the Steadfast Fathers program, I think, would be the classes. So we have a 6-series class, and they talk about how to be the best dad you can be, how to communicate with your baby's mother, and how to be proactive instead of reactive. And when the guys graduate, they come to 6 of those classes, they receive a certificate from the National Fatherhood Initiative, and also a zoo pass for the whole year, which many of them have been generously donated by the Akron Zoo. So yes, it's quite a wide variety. We see a lot of different clients and families.
That doesn't sound anything like what I think the general image of a pregnancy center is. It sounds like it's a family center.
Yeah, so it is. So we changed our name in 2015 to Embrace Clinic and Care Center. So we are still a pregnancy resource center, but we wanted it to sound more open because we do serve men and we do serve families. And honestly, we want it to kind of be like a family. So when people are coming in, it's kind of like we have little rooms that we meet. It's kind of like a living room, a nice place to be. So we just try to keep it clean and peaceful and just really be like maybe a sister or an aunt to these clients.
And yeah, I guess you could say you have a grandparent image too, because you have older adults who are volunteers there, aren't you?
We do, yes. So some of them, in addition to the volunteers that meet with clients, we also have volunteers who are sorting all of our donations. Those that are like clothes, they all need to be sorted by size, and equipment needs to be checked to make sure that it's safe to put the babies in. And then we do have lots of volunteers who aren't working day to day in the building, but especially some of our grandmothers are knitting or crocheting blankets, which is, somewhat of a lost art now. So the moms and dads really appreciate those homemade items.
Oh, that's very interesting because you're saying there are volunteer opportunities without having to even leave your home.
Sure. Yes, so we have plenty of ways that people can volunteer. We do have prayer support, those that will pray for the ministry and for our clients. Some people might be a church liaison. They would get their church involved in the place, or like we mentioned, they may be making items for our moms. Sometimes people might be active in traveling a lot, and they will donate like their little shampoos and their soaps. Our families really appreciate those type of things too.
Oh, those are things that really people maybe don't think about as being needed, but of course they are. It's like one of those, oh, that light bulb goes on. Then, oh, I never thought of that, but oh, how practical. Oh, how simple. Well, I want to change the focus just a little because I'm thinking what a wonderful place this is and how comfortable in that. When people first come to you, whether it's someone, a woman who thinks she's pregnant, or maybe the husband, the boyfriend, the family member coming, are they nervous?
Yeah, a lot of times they are. So like I said, everybody is at a different stage in their pregnancy or parenting journey. So sometimes they are just nervous because maybe this pregnancy wasn't planned, or they feel like this isn't a good time, or maybe their relationship isn't working out, or financial difficulties. So sometimes they're nervous about those kind of things. There is a little bit of nervousness about just going to a new place. Like, who are these people? Do they really care about me and my family? So we do see some that are a little bit nervous to come in, and we try to get to know them at their first visit, but we go with whatever they're comfortable sharing with us. So we do try to have like a little conversation like we're having, but whatever answers they're comfortable with sharing with us is what we go with. And then as time goes on and they become more familiar with us and they know that the whole ministry is speaking with one voice and we really do care for you, they get a lot less nervous. We also receive a lot of referrals through friends and family. So people, we've mentioned, people don't know that we're there necessarily or what services we provide. So a lot of times people will recommend us to their friends and their children and their grandchildren and their neighbors. So we receive a lot that way. And so those type of referrals, they're less nervous because someone has already established that relationship.
Well, I just realized I never asked you, where are you? Where is Embrace?
Yeah, so we are in Barberton, and for anyone that is from Barberton, we always say that we're right behind White House Chicken because they're very popular, they're very well known. So we are just one street over from Worcester, where the new Marks is and the Planet Fitness. So kind of right there in the downtown area. We've been in that location since 2015. Before that, for many, many years, we were in a house on Worcester Road. So we much prefer this building because it's all one floor. It's easily accessible to anyone that may be handicapped or anyone that's pregnant or carrying a child. So.
And that makes a big difference.
It does.
How easy it is to get to the facility and get around and just feel comfortable in it. And from the pictures, it looked like, oh my gosh, this just is a comfortable place to go.
We do really want it to be like a home. So before we were in a house, very much like a home, but it did have its challenges with the steps.
Oh, yes. And especially if you do have older people coming in as volunteers or as family support for the woman who is pregnant.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, excuse me. I really have to apologize for this. I don't think I've ever had a time when the throat acted like that. But tell us a little more about what happens when somebody comes in. You mentioned you have a kind of get acquainted talk.
Sure. So the first time she comes in, she's greeted by our receptionist at the front. We bring her into one of our lovely homey type rooms, and then we do get some basic demographics, name and age and birthday and things like that. But we just kind of have a conversation with her about her current family. You know, who is she living with? Is she with the father? Is she staying with her parents or maybe herself? Who are her children? And we ask her what type of support she has or doesn't have, because sometimes they don't realize some of the other organizations that are out there. So the things that we can do, and we refer to a lot of organizations. And we also ask them about their goals. So we just ask them, what is your short-term goal? What's your long-term goal? You know, because sometimes they're just in the day-to-day of parenting and the days go by so fast. But we want them to know that we care about where they're trying to go. So I'm not going to set a goal for you, just to talk to her. And then when she comes back the next time, so some people will come back over and over, especially if the child is in diapers, because that goes on for some time. And we just chat with her again about some of the topics that we covered the last time and how she's coming along with that goal. And sometimes if it goes on, you know, for a very long time and she's not working towards the goal, we might ask her, you know, is this still your goal? You know, what might you switch that to? Or sometimes they just have a completely new topic that has come up in their life and they just want like peer-to-peer support, someone that will just listen to them so they can tell their story.
Well, I think this is a very important aspect of what you do, the fact that once the pregnancy is over, the baby is born, you don't stop helping. Apparently you are available continually. So I think that's marvelous. And how in the world do you manage to make that happen?
Yeah, so we do see that there is that need. Once the pregnancy is over, she's still going to need that support, and she needs clothing or car seats up until age 4, and maybe she has another child, so she still needs that kind of support. So I think the way that we do make it happen is just that we have so many great volunteers and so many great donors. So we don't receive any government funding. All of our funding comes from individuals. Some of our moms will give their stuff back when they outgrow it. We have churches and organizations that will partner with us. And there's also family foundations and grantors. And then we usually have about one fundraiser a year, so people will come in, sometimes two, and support us in that way. And then there's some that donate like monthly. Maybe it comes out of their checking account every month. So we just have so many great volunteers and donors.
Well, it sounds like it is a wonderful place to donate to.
I would say yes, we love to receive the donations of, so we would tell people pretty much anything that a child would use from birth to age 4, if it's gently used. If you'd put it on your own baby or your grandbabies, then we would use it. Equipment, we make sure that it's recall checked, make sure there's no recalls. We make sure that it's safety checked, so it's safe and that it's very clean, and we'd put our own babies in it. Sometimes people do donate things like formula, so we help with formula a little bit. We're not competing with WIC. WIC is a great organization that provides it, but sometimes things happen and they need that. People donate that to us. Diapers is huge kind of thing. And then we mentioned sometimes people will donate other things that you really wouldn't think of. Like many of our clients, they might be receiving financial assistance and food assistance, but their food card is not to be paid for things like shampoo or soaps or things like that. So sometimes people will donate nice things like that as well.
Well, that's where those little vacation hotel freebies come in, and you get those home, and it's like a drawer full of, oh my gosh, it's cute, but what do I do with it now?
Right.
Perfect place.
Exactly. And then we do receive a lot of times donations of things. So sometimes we might have in a particular size of clothing more than what we can use, because we know more is going to keep coming in. So we have other agencies that we partner with, and if it's more than we can use, we share it with them. And if they receive equipment maybe that they don't know what it is, it's for a baby or something, they share it with us. So there's just a lot of places. So if someone was in doubt, we usually accept the donations, and then we'll share it with other organizations that offer it at no cost to their client families as well.
We're very fortunate in this area to have so many organizations that really make it a community spirit to help the people of the community. So that's great to know then that you are not in partnership, but you have this kind of resource network. So somebody coming to you for help is actually getting exponentially beyond. This is just marvelous.
Oh, great.
And one thing we mentioned a little bit earlier, but I was so surprised to hear that men are involved. And certainly they're such an influence and important to the child.
Surely, yes. So I think society goes many ways, but we are kind of in a time where people may say one thing about fathers and it's not necessarily what we know to be true. So dads are an essential, vital part of the child's life, and we know that. So if we're just serving the female clients, we're just doing a disservice to the family. And we also know that men have different needs or challenges maybe than the women do. So maybe they have the same challenges in that they still need diapers and a car seat, but they may have challenges with finding or keeping work, or sometimes getting help with catching up on child support if they don't have custody of the child, or visitation rights, things like that. So the challenges are just different. We just want to help everybody kind of see them where they're at and then help them to where they need to go.
And I think you mentioned that you have parenting classes for the men as well as for the women?
Yes, so for men and women, we offer like basic parenting, like birth to age 5. What are the general things on that? We also offer some things that we could do very specific, like breastfeeding or your first trimester, things like that. And then we have some streaming videos, because that's where the young people are, that they can watch at home through their phones. Some of those topics that maybe aren't best met in a classroom, like tips on potty training and things like that. And then the father's class, so while they're welcome to come to the parenting for birth to 5, we also have specifically the Steadfast Fathers, and that's the one where they talk specifically, it's just for men, the challenges that men face and how to be a godly man and a godly father and just basically the best dad you can be. So they just kind of meet all those.
Now are they group sessions?
They are. So we offer one-on-one support. So some men will choose to do that, make appointments, and just meet with one of our male mentors one-on-one. And then we also offer the classes. And sometimes people will start with the one-on-one and move to the classes, or maybe they were at the classes and maybe their challenges are just a little more time intensive. So then they will continue meeting with our mentors one-on-one.
This is such an all-around comprehensive organization that you have. Let's talk a little bit about grandparents. Are grandparents welcome at any of these sessions, or do you have sessions for other family support members?
Yes, so we have, so anybody that has either legal custody or physical custody and they're caring for a child is welcome to receive our services, whether that's classes or items, or we have had grandparents at the Steadfast Fathers classes. So there's been those that are raising grandchildren, or those that are saying, well, I have already raised my children, but I still need a little bit of help because times have changed and things like that. And we do have some regular clients who, because of some unfortunate incidents, have full-time custody of their grandchildren. So we just kind of, again, just meet them where they are. So anybody that has any type of pregnancy-related challenge, and one of those challenges is children. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know that there are so many cases out there where grandparents do have the responsibility, and that can be quite a challenge because, as you said, times have changed. Things are different from when they were raising their own children, and it can be a little overwhelming. So you're able to be a support for that as well?
Yeah, and sometimes we have different age ranges even of the grandparents. So sometimes maybe the grandparent had their children very young and their children may have had children very young. So we have young grandparents, or we have older grandparents, some that have custody of all of their grandchildren or one, or maybe they just suddenly found themselves, if their child is dealing with an issue that's maybe going to resolve itself, they might have just temporary custody of the children. And sometimes it happens like an emergency. They didn't know that it was going to happen. So we're able to help out in that situation too. Maybe the child came to their home and doesn't have enough clothes for the next day, or diapers, or a car seat. So we just try our best to meet their needs.
Well, how would people get in touch with you?
So we do have, there's a website. People can make appointments on the website. We do also have, they can call or text the number of 330-825-1900. A lot of ways that people get in touch with us. So they can also reach out through Facebook and Instagram, but most people do just call or text or go through the website.
And the website is embraceccc.org.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's not hard to remember, and it's an easy way for anybody who does that. And there's the phone number for people who aren't using computers or don't have a smartphone or whatever. But to kind of sum it up, what made you want to be involved in this?
So honestly, I just didn't realize that how many challenges there were facing families and before I got involved. So I had stayed home with my children for a while, and I have a very supportive husband, and he helped me and he worked and things like that, but it's still challenging, you know. So I couldn't imagine for all of these women who some of them are married, but some of them are not, just all the different challenges that they have, and maybe they don't have a support system, and that pregnancy and children are a gift and a blessing, And I don't want people to feel, that they don't have choices with their pregnancy. We want them to know that they are empowered, they can do this. No woman should have to go without support during a pregnancy, and no man should have to go without support. So we want them to feel empowered. We know that they can do this. They can parent this child, or sometimes they can place this child for adoption, but they can do their best, and it will work out for what is the best for this family.
Well, Peggy, thank you so much for sharing all this with us today. It's a wonderful thing that's going on. Give us once more, tell us the phone number and the website.
Yeah, so our website is embraceccc.org. You can find our services on there and how to contact us. And then our phone number for calling or texting is 330-825-1900.
Peggy, thank you so much for being with us today. And to all of you who've tuned in today, thank you so much for being with us today, and have a wonderful day. For RSVP, I'm Irma Baker.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.